The story starts with 3 dragon girls questioning a guy if he is the new prison guard. She makes fun of him because he is someone who came from the human race and is named Shimzu-kuma. Shimzu greets them with a smile on his face and feels pleased to meet them. The dragon girl says that she can find a variety uses for this man and tells Shimzu to make sure to listen to them if he does not want to end up crying. Amidst, a guy walks in and angrily tells those girls to stop as Shimzu is related to. 2 weeks ago, Shimzu was walking in the streets while thinking that he had been rejected from the unofficial job offer without a second thought, and he wanted to return the favor to the company's president, who was too kind to him, as he got the offer letter even though he was not eligible according to their criteria because he did not meet the qualification. Shimzu is annoyed because all of it is the fault of the ongoing pandemic, and he thinks that he can never know what is going to happen next. As life is too unpredictable, he keeps thinking and walks into a place he is not familiar with. When he looks around, he is shocked as he is just walking in Shibuya right now. He removes his mask and to breathe comfortably, but when he looks above, a huge dragon is coming towards him. He asks himself if this is a dream, and the dragon stands right in front of him. Until then, he is sure that this is not a dream and that whatever he is seeing is happening in reality. The dragon in front of him roars and he falls on the ground. When his eyes open up, he looks around and sees a girl trying to talk to him in a different language, but he cannot understand a word. Therefore, the girl approaches him and stares into his eyes. She changes her language and starts to speak his language so that he can understand it easily. Then she asks him if he understands her, and he claims that he is able to understand her now. The girl then introduces herself as Panya and claims that she will keep talking to him while taking care of his wounds. She starts to mix different herbs and then helps him to apply those on the wounds while explaining that this is a different world, and on rare occasion, some foreigners from another world like him somehow end up there. Moreover, at the moment, there is no way to return to his world, and all that is left for him and the other people who came into this world is to adapt and to live their lives in this place. Shimzu starts to think about what he should do and wonders if he should start by searching for some other person who is in the same circumstances as him. However, he declines to do that as he wants to do the processing problem of finding food and a place to sleep for now. Amidst, the girl offers him some services that come with meals and accommodation. Shimzu gets shocked after hearing it and wonders if this girl is a goddess and kneels down to request work. He tries to persuade her to let him work with her, and the girl takes him to a very beautiful place. After they reach there, the girl tells him that this is the Sea Bastille and it is a prison managed by the Queendom of Sebek. Shimzu asks her about the services she talked of, and she tells him that he will be a prison guard like her. She shows him the badge and he wonders if he will be able to do this job and looks around while thinking that the prison in this place looks too calm. While he is looking towards the sea, a huge fish comes out of the water and he gets scared after seeing it. The girl tells him that there are many beasts in the sea and she supposes that it was one of the cute ones. After that, she tells him that the ruler of the seas is instead something like the Kraken, which can mess with the naval fleet that comes to protect the area. After the brief introduction, both of them walk into the prison. Shimzu looks around to get familiar with the place and sees a beautiful water fountain in front of the building. He praises the view, and then Panya tells him that there are showers and toilets in the cells. He keeps walking and sees different people with a dragon look. Therefore, he asks her if these people are assigned with any labor here, and she says yes. The Sea Bastille is a bit of a special place, and says that their labor here is fighting. Then she tells him that these people do things like putting on huge displays for the arena crowds or bringing in some dangerous beast. Shimzu understands that only strong women are present here, but he is proven wrong as he sees a huge man walking towards him with a girl. He sees the girl and understands that she is the prisoner. He keeps looking towards her, and Panya asks him if he is curious about her, but he refuses to accept that. However, Panya still tells him that she is the new prisoner Zaina Sebek, and she is a royal family member who has been imprisoned for the crime of beating someone's father. Shimzu understands it, and then they walk into a place and Panya tells him to wait there for a bit. Meanwhile, he thinks that he wants to start all of this by giving his best and returning the favor to Panya-san. While these thoughts are going through his mind, a girl approaches them while jumping and then asks if he is a new prisoner. She introduces herself as Gamey and asks Panya who he is. Thus, Panya tells her that he is known as Kuma. Gamey opens the view of the melons for him and claims that she is going to take him with her. Then she says that there are only women in this place and says that she will take the lion of a man if he comes here, as her cave is really empty. Meanwhile, Shimzu is shocked as he is not ready to believe it, and his head stops working when she shares her love with him. Then she asks him if this is his first time and says that it does not look like that, but he does not respond, so she says that she will make this enjoyable for both of them. Therefore, She removes the curtains from the cave and sits right next to him. He tries to stop her from doing that suddenly and thinks that he will lose his feelings of being a good boy like that. He then holds her melons and finishes the task. Gamma says thanks to him for the meal and then gets up from there. She praises his work as he did really well. Gamma then takes out her nails and tries to do something while mentioning that she wonders how this would feel. She starts to beat him up while Kuma is going through a certain feeling. Gamma then shouts that beating is great and starts to laugh like an evil. Then she says that he has a very passionate dance. Kuma tries to ask Panya-san to help him while she is coming towards him with a tray in her hands. He asks her to save him, but she looks aside as she is not able to save him. Amidst this, Gamma tells him that Panya-san words for her and praises her work as she did really well in finding and bringing this man for her. Shimizu is left speechless as he sees that, and then Gamma says that nobody will care if she messes with a foreigner as people like him are perfect to turn them into their own personal people. Shimizu asks her to stop and wait before doing anything as he has a lot of knowledge about the things she does not know and asks her to let him go as he will make all the love and the food better and tastier for her. Gamma holds his face and says that he is an idiot as this world has these supernatural powers called arts, and they have no need for some useless knowledge of the other world. Then she says that foreigners don't have the spirit power necessary to produce art, and she can tell clearly enough by simply looking at him. After that, she picks him up and beats him again while claiming that he is nobody in front of her and they do not need someone like him. She ends her business with him and then orders her worker Panya to take him away. Panya agrees to do that and takes him near the sea. She does exactly as her boss tells her to do and gets rid of the task. While Shimizu is in the water, his eyes open up and he wonders if he is going to be no more. However, something surprising happens and he ends up on the edge of the beach all good and with no harm. He looks around and wonders if he is not hurt. Amidst, he sees an octopus in front of him claiming that this is the place that it has created. It introduces itself as Karama and says that he is the kraken that lives in the ocean. Shimizu tries to introduce himself, but Karama already knows him as he has already gone through his memories. Karama says that he is the one who took care of him and now he is protecting him. He further explains that they are currently in the mental bodies as he received a wound and it is trying to heal, but then claims that he can fix him, and in exchange for fixing him, he wants him to help his savior Zaina. Karama tells him when he was born and extremely weak there was a time when he was caught by the people on the land. He says that he was really valuable and legendary things could be made from him. Karama tells him the story of when he was caught and the people who caught him were trying to beat him up and then make use of its power. They were doing it because if they were successful in doing that, then they would have infinite materials on their hands. Karama's days were really hard while he was out there, but that is when Zaina helped him escape from there. Then Karama tells him that he heard from people that Zaina saved him and she had been in prison in the Sea Bastille. He does not doubt that there is some reason behind that, and now it is his turn to save her from the danger. Shimizu listens to the story and then asks if this is why he came out here near the Sea Bastille, and he tells him that yes, he cannot take any actions while on the land, that is why he wants Shimizu to help him save Zaina. He tells him that he will acquire great power and his injuries will heal too. Shimizu asks what will happen to his consciousness, and if will he be able to return to normal, and Karama tells him that he will continue to be himself and all he will do is give him consciousness and power. However, Karama is not sure if he will return to being normal, but there is no importance in doing that either. Shimizu agrees to do it as it will allow him to continue his normal life and he does not mind it at all. Then he asks if that will not make Karama's consciousness disappear if he does that. However, Karama does not care about it. They join their teams and Karama sees Zaina being caught and wonders if she will be fine after letting him go like this. He sees Zaina and thinks that she is in danger because of him, and after that he promises not to mess with those who live on the surface so long as they do not mess with him, and the fact that she rescued him is the most precious and important thing for him. Shimizu asks him if he is sure that he will be fine with him being his partner, and Karama says that the Sea Bastille is a dangerous place and he has no time to waste, and adds that one must pay back the favors that one received. Karama asks Shimizu if he has the same belief, while Shimizu thinks that this guy trusts him. Therefore, he promises him that he will save Zaina no matter what it takes, and Karama feels grateful to him. Amidst, the match starts and they join their thoughts. Meanwhile, Gamma is eating something and she praises her partner for bringing it for her. While eating, she says that this prison is a good place as freedom is hers as long as she has power, but she regrets one thing: if only that scary lord was not there. While she is talking about it, Shimizu walks in there while wearing a different look. He angrily says that he is there to give his thanks for before and uses his powers for the payback. Gamma is not sure how he got those powers, even though he had no powers before and now his powers are overflowing. Shimizu changes his appearance and says that he is very angry. Gamma gets up to mess with him and says that she will beat him up for real this time. She uses her claw arts, but when she hits him, it is of no use. Shimizu says that he used energy out of the spirit and beat her up. She asks him what kind of strength he has, and he tells her that it is Kraken's power. Gama's worker also gets scared after hearing it, and they are not ready to believe that the ruler of the sea is with him. Shimizu says that he is messing with her because she made him lose his feelings, and she asks him if he was not enjoying himself in the end. He hits her and the melon comes out from the cover and she jumps away from him. Shimizu then tells her that she is right, that he enjoyed it, but he wants to make her pay back for what she did next. Therefore, he hits her and then picks her worker, and she apologizes to him for what she did, as she had to do that as it was an order for her. Therefore, she requests him to leave her as she is ready to do whatever he asks her for. Shimizu leaves her and then holds her using his back power and asks if she is really ready to do anything, and she says yes to. Shimizu then takes the opportunity and asks her to hire him as the prison guard and also put him in charge of Zaina Sebek. She says that she can do that. Meanwhile, Shimizu thinks that he will fulfill his promise to Karima and save Zaina. Amidst, the worker tells him that Zaina is going to face the consequences of what she did, and Shimizu is left speechless after hearing it. Meanwhile, a girl somewhere is thinking about Kraken, and she is the guard of the sea bastille known as Isis. Therefore, the great power that Shimizu acquired leads him into a great mess that has just begun. The warden Isis meets Shimizu herself, and both of them introduce themselves. Shimizu admires her beauty after seeing her, and she welcomes him to their world and their sea bastille. Then she tells him that she read the report that he is a partner of the Kraken is the most interesting thing she ever heard of. Shimizu asks her to allow him to work in the sea bastille and thinks that he will work there and get closer to Zaina in order to save her. The warden asks him to show his strength in a humble way. Amidst, a huge guard brings in 2 prisoners, and she asks Shimizu to look at them as they are her prisoners, and there is a sign on their neck. She tells him that every prisoner of the sea bastille has that sign, and if they try to escape from there she will punish them. Therefore, just to show her powers, she tries to punish them, but the prisoners ask her to have mercy on them. She says that she does not beat them up, but instead removes the seal and turns them into a monster. As she is done with her powers, she asks Shimizu to defeat that monster. Shimizu looks at the monster and says that they are really dangerous people and they are making plans to beat Isis. Isis says that they would end up getting beaten up in the end. While she is explaining things to him, the monster tries to hit Shimizu and he defends himself. Then he decides to mess with the monster, as there is no other way left. As he uses his powers, the warden Isis understands that it is really Kraken while the monster enjoys the power. The monster runs towards him because it wants to end this quickly, as it is the least thing it can do. As the monster gets near Shimizu, he beats it up in one go, and the warden of Isis is shocked after seeing it because she made a very powerful monster, and he ended up beating it up instantly. Meanwhile, Shimizu is irritated by the feeling he is having at the moment. The warden tells him that the Sea Bastille is a place for females and the employees are women as well, but he is special. Therefore, she employs him as a prison guard and he feels thankful for it. However, he felt kind of disappointed and he said no, and thinks that he promised to protect Zaina and he cannot allow himself to fail the employment examination. He got a bit nervous there because the warden was too beautiful. The warden gets close to him and says that he should get used to it, and then she deals with Panya as she ends up sharing love with the prisoner and even obeys her every word. According to the warden, she is a failure as a prison guard and asks the guards to beat her up. Panya tries to defend her actions, but the warden says that the merits of bringing Kuma here were not small and forgives her this time and appoints her as the prison guard for the 8th section. Panya obeys the order and the guard takes her away with himself. Then the warden says as they have space now, they have to talk about some serious matters now. She takes out test tubes filled with fluids and says that all of these tubes have different types of fluids, and he has to pour these 3 into a separate one. Then she tells him that he can get affected by this and says that she will investigate it, and if there is any need, she will give him medicine. Shimizu takes those tubes and walks out of the room, but she tells him to do it there, as they are short on time. Shimizu starts to do the task and she takes the fluid from his hand. The warden says that it did not taste so good, and he apologizes to her for not living up to her expectation. Then he gets ready for the last task, and she says that his normal form is the very same as that of the one from the human. Shimizu asks her to stop staring at him like that because he gets very nervous, and she starts to look aside and tries to raise the stick. As the lion is awake, she shows love to the lion and then praises his hard work. After she is done with it, warden then starts with the interview and questions him. How did he end up with Kraken? And Shimizu thinks that he is getting the feeling that telling this person everything is dangerous. Therefore, he tells her that when he was out near the sea, a giant thing came close to him, and by the time he woke up he was with the Kraken. He says that he was on the verge of everything and his mind was too lazy. The warden sighs and asks him what is the reason that he wants to be the guard of Zaina Sebek. He says that he happened to see her in the passageway and he started to like her. Isis goes near the window and says, as one would expect of the royal family, they certainly have looks. She calls him near the window and asks him to look outside as an arena and the ones fighting in there are females. She explains that this kind of fight is very popular in the Queendom of Sebek and the fight being held right now is a ranked battle and it is good for the first half of the year. Moreover, prisoners with a high rank are allowed many different moves within the prison. The higher rankers can also make a play on the outcomes of the battles. After this, she tells him that Zaina will also stand there after 2 days, but her opponent will not be a prisoner as it will be a very dangerous monster known as the Great Saber Lion. It has already messed with 12 prisoners and it remains undefeated to this day. Then she claims that it is meant to serve as an example to others, and the fight of Zaina is because of her actions of messing with the king's father. Shimizu asks her to push it further for a few days as he promises to make good use of Kraken's powers to perform his duties. Isis says that it would be impossible for her to do that on her own as it is an order from the royal family, but she can let him be close to her in the time left before she goes into the arena. Shimizu thinks that he has to do something about it and Isis says that she will leave him in charge of the 9th section to which Zaina belongs. Shimizu asks about the section and she says that they call it because it consists of a group of prisoners and one guard is assigned to one section and there are 6 prisoners in there. She asks him to make sure that he properly takes care of all of them and if he does not do that, then he will have to lose his job. Shimizu thinks that he is in charge of not only Zaina but also multiple females and picks his uniform while thinking that it sounds like it will be a lot of trouble, but he has no other option at the moment. He thinks that the first order of the business is gathering information about them. Amidst, Panya shows up and congratulates him on getting the job as they are going to be co-workers from now on. She tells him that he can talk to her casually as she is in charge of the 9th section. She hands him the documents of female prisoners and Shimizu says thanks to her and then she tells him that here at the Sea Bastille, prisoners have a high degree of freedom, and the 9th section particularly is composed of female prisoners. She advises him to make sure to take care of himself there. Shimizu takes the documents and walks towards the 9th section. He introduces himself to the ladies there as a prisoner guard and looks towards Zaina while thinking that he made a promise with Karima to save her no matter what happened. Then one of the girls there asks him if he defeated Gamey and finds it interesting, and the other girl asks him to make sure he does not bother Paulina-sama with anything. Those girls are known as Miriam and Paulina respectively, and both of them are going to stay there for more than 7 years for their crimes. Then Zaina says to him that they will be in his care from now on and Keket asks him about Kraken. Meanwhile, Shimizu thinks that they just went ahead and talked to him casually and it seems like they looked quite badly at Panya, but it does not bother him at all. Then he looks at Keket and Zaina and thinks that the charges on them are quite high and wonders if it is not like Zaina's case and if there is some sort of reason her punishment is like that. He starts to look for her file and Keket tries to mess with him to see what he is capable of doing. He hits him but does not react to that, so she gets shocked and the other girls asks her what she is trying to do. Miriam says that even if she is ranked A, she will get stuck due to this. Then Zaina asks Shimizu if he is okay, while he is wondering if he will be able to save Zaina from this place. Shimizu work as a prisoner guard begins and his job number 1 as a guard is to monitor prisoners in his charge. He keeps a great eye on them and always sees different melon sizes. Thus, he wonders if the girls in there forget that they have a male guard. He looks in Zaina's locker room and feels lucky because there aren't any cellmates assigned to her at present. When he looks at Zaina, he sees her doing some practice in there and she feels that someone is keeping an eye on her. Therefore, she looks at the door and sees him watching her, so she asks him if there is something that he needs. Shimizu tells her that there is something important that he needs to discuss with her and he tells her everything that had happened to him up to that moment, including the Kraken. He tells her that he is here to help her and he is a partner of Kraken whom she helped in her past. Shimizu tells her that the Kraken made a promise to itself that it would repay the debt to her and she could not believe it. Then Shimizu claims that Karima is a kind fellow and she gets emotional after hearing it. They keep talking about it and then Shimizu says that he wants to ask her about what led her to this situation and asks if she is facing some fake charges. Zaina claims that he is right and claims that her father was a swordsman known as the Paladin. She is the one who inherits her father's skills ever since she was a young girl. She claims that she received his direct instructions in the way of the sword and the silent and strict training her father gave her must have seemed hard. However, She was happy with it because during all the hard training there was kindness. She says that her father was unable to express his feelings and emotions, but her father was beaten by someone, and a number of nobles independently decided that she was the one behind all this because she was tired of the hard training. She claims that she insisted that she was innocent, but the court declared her the person behind all that, and so it was decided that she would be sent to prison. Shimizu listens to her carefully and claims that all that is too wrong to be done to her, and she claims that she made a promise to herself that she will find out who messed with her father and make them face the judgment without fail. Shimizu asks her if she has any idea of who is behind all this, and she claims that she is the niece of the current queen and she has the right to the throne. Shimizu gets it that it is a messed up situation of the throne. Then he thinks that both the prearranged plan and the impossible match can be explained if the royal family is putting on the pressure. Zaina claims that she still has no hold of the evidence, and Shimizu with a serious tone asks her if she wants to run from there, but she does not think that it is the best idea. It is because she got the symbol on her neck when he was under the water, and she claims that it felt like magic was being sent into the soul. Therefore, Shimizu asks her if there is no way she could run away from there, and she says even if they somehow ran from there, it would be simply the end for everything, but before that, she would rather rely on her own 2 arms, and in other words, she will continue to win the arena of the Sea Bastille and raise her rank as a prisoner. He asks her if she is talking about the thing that prisoners of high rank get various rights of freedom within the prison, and she says the ones at the highest ranks such as S ranks can even aim to get a reduction on their time in the cell. She tells him about a general by the name of Raf who continued to earn victories within the Sea Bastille, managed to prove her innocent, and became a great hero after her release. Shimizu says if there is a good point behind all this, then he thinks that it is a good choice to make, and then asks her what will she do about the fight the day after tomorrow. She claims that she will win that fight as long as she fights with her powers, and Shimizu tells her that the opponent that she is going to meet with has already won all of its fight with the others. Zaina with confidence claims that she has lived her life with a sword and there is no way that she is going to lose to some local monster. Shimizu is shocked after seeing her confidence as she is ready to fight a very powerful monster. 2 days later, the host announced that the C-rank competitor, Zaina, was entering the arena, and Shimizu thought that he could see now how she would become popular if she continued with this place. Then the host announces that Zaina is the daughter of the paladin and she is their newcomer who is going to fight with the great saber lion. The host announces that the saber lion fought 12 fights and won all of them, as all of its opponents got no chance to stand in front of it. She tells Zaina to make no mistake, as it is a monster that is too powerful and she will get no chance if she makes any mistake. Meanwhile, Shimizu thinks that during these 2 days, he has gained even more of his special characteristics, as he can play with ink, in both liquid and gaseous form. That is why, if things get messed up, he will toss out some ink and create a smoke screen, and during that time, he will enter into the arena and defeat the monster. He thinks that it is a bit dangerous, but it is still better than letting Zaina be beaten up by the monster. Amidst, the host announces that the match has begun, and Zaina uses her sword skill while the saber lion runs towards her. She hits the lion and wins the match in one hit. Everyone is shocked to see that. The host could not believe that Zaina was this strong and claimed that the newcomer had made her debut, while Shimizu thought that she was incredible. Zaina is still wondering if this is for real and then bids goodbye to the great saber lion. Zaina can aim for the top in the arena as she is very powerful and skilled. At night, someone walks into the Section 9 area and Shimizu watches that man walking towards Zaina's cell. He understands that he is there to mess with her since she won the match and thinks that this man has very low standards and morals. Therefore, he beats him up and takes him to Zaina to ask if she knows this man, but she says no, she does not know him. Shimizu says that whatever the case is, there is someone who wants her out of the game, and she says that she can protect herself. Shimizu says that it does not matter how strong she may be because she will not win anymore if she continues to stress herself anymore. Zaina looks towards him and says that then he will be the one in danger, and he tells her to relax and go to sleep as he is there to protect her from every danger that comes towards her. Then he says that he will be back after he reports this to the boss, and Zaina keeps thinking about his last words as it was the first time that someone said that to her. Meanwhile, Shimizu is thinking about the way to save Zaina, as it seems visible now, and all that is left is to continue what they are doing and reach the end point where they will be free. While Shimizu is walking down the corridor, Paulina calls him and asks for a minute. She shows him the list and claims that there are some plant-based materials that she uses in her experiments and she wants him to bring them for her. Therefore, he looks into the rules book and says that there is no issue with bringing those for her, and she asks him to bring them for her till the evening. Shimizu says that she is asking for a good amount of them and this is going to be a pain, and she says that she will pay for the services. Shimizu says that it will cost her quite a bit, and she shows him the valley and says that it is a special service from her and it is worth 1,000 gold coins. Shimizu gets a good look at it and says that he has to bring the materials then, and she thinks that he is too easy and she will be able to order him to bring a lot of things now, but when she looks at him, he is thinking about something, so she asks him why he is staring so much. Shimizu says that since it was how he was being compensated, he was thinking of dissolving the image into his eyes, and Paulina thinks that he is more difficult than she thought. Then Shimizu walks away from there and says that he recognized their contract, and he will bring in the materials by the evening without fail, and she says that she will be waiting for. He keeps walking and thinks that he has to develop a good relationship with the prisoners who are in his charge. As he walks near Zaina's cell, she calls him and says that she gave her best to a drawing last night and shows a sketch of him, but he is confused and asks who it is. She claims that it is him, and claims that they say that a picture drawn by a warrior who has put their heart into it can act as a barrio against the troubles, and then she requests him to take it with himself. Shimizu takes the sketch from her and says thanks to her, and both of them smile as a gesture of love. Shimizu thinks that she got a lot of positive vibes and thinks that if this is proof that she trusts in him, then he is extremely happy. Zaina then asks him if he is going to the arena after this, and he claims that he has to go to see Miriam's fight. Therefore, he walks away from her and then meets Miriam and asks her if she is not nervous about this fight, and she claims that it is not like she hates fighting. She asks him to watch her fight full of passion and then walks towards the arena. The host calls in the participants competing into the arena and then announces the details about the fighters. First, she talks about Lidong and says that she calls victory with cold intelligence and techniques, and then says the other one is Miriam and claims that she is a passionate fighter and no one can stop the punches of the Oni tribe. Shimizu takes out the rulebook and reads that the round-robin tournament of the H1 League has the participants fight one by one within the limited time frame, with opponents determined by the results, and depending on the results their rank changes. Amidst the match starts and both the fighters start to mess with each other. Miriam runs to hit Lidong and she starts to punch her, but Lidong plays with her cool intelligence and fights back, due to which Miriam falls on the ground. However, Miriam is still not done and she gets up to hit her back while Lidong wonders if this girl does not feel any pain or tiredness. Miriam keeps hitting her and then uses her passion to send her flying with the strength she has. The situation is getting warmed up, and everyone is getting interested in the fight, and Lidong announces that the real fight starts now. Miriam is ready for it and she asks her to bring it on. Lidong uses thread skill and spreads thread all around Miriam. Therefore, Miriam uses the wheel skill to hit her and says that it is her turn now. As Miriam rolls towards her, Lidong uses turtle shell skill to save herself, but Miriam uses her skills to dodge it and says it's a checkmate. Lidong claims that the checkmate is hers, though it is because she used another skill before using the turtle shell and it will help her to win. Lidong, being cool, says to Miriam that she is still fine even after that. Thus, she has to do this to her. With the brilliant trick, she wins the match and the host announces that the match has been decided. Shimizu runs towards Miriam to see if she is fine, but it seems like she is badly hurt. In the training ground, Miriam gets up, and she seems annoyed because Lidong won the match out there and she seems devoted to winning the next match. Shimizu takes out the history book and claims that this season, she has started with 7 consecutive wins and then 3 consecutive defeats, and Miriam says that if she continues to win, the rank of the opponents she faces will also go up. Miriam, with an angry tone while grabbing the curtains in her hand, claims that those high-ranking guys all use those tricks like the girl from before, and Shimizu tells her that she was too angry out there. He tells her that she could have won the match if she was fighting calmly. Miriam looks towards him and asks if it is not cool to break through those tricks with the passion she has, and Shimizu replies it is cool, but she is losing. He claims that he can also defeat her within seconds, and she gets shocked after hearing it. She says that he is getting too full of himself, just because she cannot say anything to the guard. Shimizu asks her to fight with him and he will not say anything to anyone, and she gets ready to do it. She claims that she will make him cry and he asks her to come anytime she wants to, as no matter what she does, he will end it in a second. Miriam runs to hit him while claiming that she will beat him, and he says that those movements are no good. Miriam tries to grab him, but she gets trapped in the tentacles as his arms can transform into them, and then he asks her if she can run. He claims that it is his win and angrily says that she told him that she would beat him up and make him cry. Therefore, he does exactly with her and uncovers the melons that everyone wants to see. She keeps requesting him to stop, but he keeps uncovering the melons and valley. As he gets to do it, His mission is successfully done and she asks him if he thinks that there is someone who could actually perform a task, and he apologizes to her when he gets normal. Miriam angrily asks him to let her go as she does not care about that, and Shimizu does as asked. When she gets free, he thinks that he never thought that she would get so embarrassed by this, and as she covers her melons and valley back, he asks her if she has got it now. He asks her to try and fix that habit of rushing straight at her opponents a little, and she says that it is what that distinguishes her from others. Shimizu tells her that it does not do her any good if she loses, and she says getting all angry is just how she rolls, so maybe it will all just work out in the end. Shimizu closes his eyes to think something and then says that it could be impossible if they used his power, and she says that his power is awesome. Shimizu thinks that it involves having her to face some moments that she might feel embarrassed about in the future, but she seems ready for it as she can do anything for it. A Reincarnate also had a fight and she won it easily, and the promising newcomer Zaina has managed consecutive victories in an amazing style. Paulina-sama and Miriam talk about the victories the 9th section is having, and Miriam talks about the girls in the sea bottom rooms. She says once those are back they might be able to win the prisoner group competition matches. Amidst, Paulina-sama angrily taunts her that she is the only one there with consecutive defeats. Miriam gets angry after hearing it and she asks Paulina to fight with her in the arena if this is the case, but Paulina says that she is not ready to do that as she is a girl that follows culture and morals. Miriam says that she will win the next match, and Paulina looks towards her and thinks that she gave up disappointingly easily. Meanwhile, in the prisoner guard room, Kuma and Miriam are practicing and she asks him to fight with her with full motivation. Kuma uses his tentacles. He uses the power, and Miriam says that no matter how many times she sees it, it just does not make her happy as it is so interesting for her. Kuma tells her that it is to make her get rid of her weaknesses, and she claims that she already knows that. Kuma says that it is the 4th day since she started fighting him, and he asks her if she has noticed any effects, and she says yes. She ends her discussion with Paulina-sama in a second. Squids have a chemical in them that helps to relax the nerves and make one feel calm in a second. Kuma then tells her that it is an ability of squids that he learned after various experiments, and then Miriam says that she feels like she can win tomorrow's match with this. She says that her best friend is waiting for her and she has to get released from there as soon as possible. Kuma looks for a record and says that she has been punished to stay there for 10 years and asks her, how did all that happen? Miriam then tells him that she went to mess with nobles who made fun of her friend and then got these 10 years as a reward from the nobles for beating them up. Kuma asks her if that is all and she says yes, that is all, and he says that she is a simple one and starts to laugh. Miriam asks him if he is trying to make fun of her and he says no, he has started to like her and he is going to be on her side. Then he asks her to come and take more squids to prepare herself for the fight, and she does as asked. The next fight for the H1 League has begun, and the host with a questionable tone asks if Miriam will be able to win this time. Then the host announces the other opponent, known as Nelly, who wins the matches with the calculated action. It is a fight between 2 B rankers with 1 win and 3 losses. Nelly says that she will end this with instant victory, and Miriam with a smile on her face claims that her taunts will not work anymore on her. Meanwhile, Shimizu is watching them and the battle starts. Nelly uses the ball skill and throws them towards Miriam, but Miriam uses will skill and tries to dodge them. Nelly orders the balls to continue messing with her. Miriam claims that she is getting angry and blocks all of the balls that are coming towards her. She blocks them with her whole strength while a question arises if her wheels are durable enough to withstand the pressure of the balls. Shimizu takes a good look and sees that she is changing her wheels with new ones at an incredible rate. Nelly keeps pushing it with all that she got, and she says that the moment her eyes adjust to the speed of the steel balls, she will launch a low-flying surprise ball with a far faster steel ball, but Miriam dodges it too and claims that even if she is acting angry, her mind is cool, so she could see her small little tricks. Miriam then runs towards her and hits her with all that she has and wins the match. Shimizu feels great because Miriam was able to stay calm while fighting and thinks that she will be fine now with this. At night, in the 9th section, Shimizu gets ready for the trial and he disappears. Miriam is shocked after seeing him like that, and he tells her that he did this by using Squid's powers. However, one of his towers is visible and he says that he still has not mastered it yet. He says that he has to master it more and says thanks to her for helping him with that. Miriam starts to take the squid and she tells him not to turn himself into his usual self. He tells her that she is free until her next match, and asks if there is no issue if she goes out at night without eating. She claims that she is not able to relax unless she takes some squid, and Shimizu with a shocking tone asks her if she has developed a dependency on it. He claims that tonight he is not going to help her, and she asks him, why is that? He tells her that transformation leaves him like that and to make things bad. He is too sensitive because he used the helping material and she cannot get near him right now. Miriam does not listen to him. and gets close to him while asking if that has got something to do with her, and she tries to take the squid, even if he does not want to because he is transformed and all his feelings are flowing out. She tries different areas to get a good taste of it, and Shimizu cannot control himself, so he tries to share his love with her while she is shocked about what he is doing. He tells her that he cannot keep himself in control like this if she goes and does things that she is not supposed to do. Miriam asks him if he is trying to tell that he is seeing something from someone like her, and he says that she is cute and beautiful. Then he takes her melons out and starts to squeeze them while Miriam thinks that she has only thought of fighting till now, and this is the first time that someone said something like that to her. Shimizu opens the valley and enters the lion inside, and she tries to say that there is no need to do that. He starts to push his lion inside the valley, and Miriam's head stops working as it is the first time that someone entered in there. Both of them share love with each other, and Shimizu keeps opening the valley wide open. Even the things fall on the ground. After that, he squeezes the melons and puts the lion deeply inside the valley and does that for a while. Meanwhile, in the Sebek Queendom Palace, the second princess Farida Sebek asks the master of the Sea Bastille, Isis, what she means by the secret gift, but Isis stays quiet, and the princess tells her that they will not listen to her conversation while they are there and there is no need to hesitate. Isis then shows her a little statue that is hurt and says that this is the reason she is there, and the princess asks her what it is that, and Isis claims that it is a person who tried to mess with Zaina Sebek. She tells her that after they caught him, she made him smaller with art and also punished him for what he did. Isis asks the guy who sent him there, and he says someone who is linked to Farina Sebek. He says that their neighboring countries have spent the recent years on their militaries, and if a messed up situation occurs, Zaina will become the top candidate for getting the throne as she has skills in military arts. He then claims that Farida is the one who wants to take the throne herself, and as such she wants to beat her competitor Zaina. In the Queendom of Sebek, the people vote to choose the queen, and this means that those unable to understand subordinates' wishes have already lost their qualifications as a queen. However, the queen is not ready to accept the blame, and she says that it is such a bunch of uselessness. Then Isis says that trying to pin what he did on Farida Sama, the favorite candidate for the throne, is indeed the most important thing. The queen tells Isis to feel free to do as she wants to with him, but the little guy requests her to leave him and not to punish him for what he did, as he told her everything that she needed to know. However, Isis is super angry, and she says that she will punish everyone who tries to mess with her rules and create a messed up situation in the Sea Bastille, and the queen says to her that she is quite a dependable person. Isis kneels and says that may it all be for the sake of the Queendom of Sebek, and the queen guesses that this is a warning. Isis then leaves there, and she thinks that the queen wants the throne and questions herself if each person wants a different thing, as she too has a dream. Her dream is to offer Kuma his love to her, as she really wants his stick to enter the valley that is open for all the visitors. Kuma is sharing love with Miriam to the extent that the lion is feeling every inch of the valley. At the same time, Miriam is also enjoying the love he has for her, and her valleys of her are wide open now. She thinks that he is too strong, but at the same time, she is enjoying the love he is sharing with her. He keeps changing positions to share his love with the valley and melons, and Miriam wonders if she is feeling the pain because it is her first time to share the love. Kuma keeps sharing the love, and at last, he tells her to be at ease as he will take responsibility for everything. Miriam covers her melons and valleys, and Kuma tries to get close to her, but she stops him. However, Kuma wants to say something about their relationship from there on, but she stops him and says forget everything that happened. She wants him to forget every single bit of it and says that he should know that she only let that happen because of the moment that they were sharing, and claims that it is not her. Then she runs away from there, saying that he is just a guard of the prisoner, and that is all she thinks about him. Kuma thinks if she has got that much to say, then the only thing he can say is that he should forget about it. Meanwhile, in the Sebek Queendom Palace, the second princess Farida Sebek picks up the small statue and says that she should have done something about Zaina without sending her to the Sea Bastille. She squeezes the statue in her hands and says, by the time she tried to mess with the first princess, she became too much persuasive in her method. The princess takes the statue, throws it in the water, and tries to walk away from there as soon as possible, because if she stands out there any longer than this, then the people will suspect her. She thinks that she has to do something about Zaina very carefully. Therefore, she calls her dragons and says that she will leave it to the three Kusa brothers. On the other side, Kuma and the girls are looking at the new task, and they get to know that a new chamber in the cave has been discovered, so they are bringing the members to investigate it. Cave investigations and messing with the monsters are part of the punishment worker here at the Sea Bastille. A prisoner's rank will increase if they deliver good results, but in exchange, the level of risk is high. Kuma asks Paulina-sama if she is planning to go and investigate the cave, and she says that it is her specialty. She claims that the arena has too many idiots. Amidst, Miriam and Zaina walk towards her while claiming that they are going to join her too. She claims that they got some free time until the next match, and Zaina says that she wants to have some achievements herself, and she does not care about how small they are. Kuma looks towards Keket and asks about her, and she says that she is not going to some dark place like that. She does some stunts and then says that she wants to enjoy the pleasant atmosphere while she messes with her opponents in the arena. Paulina says that Keket is that kind of girl, and Kuma asks if she is someone that likes noise and wants to be noisy. Meanwhile, he wonders what prisoner guards do at times like these, and he gets to know that the guards accompany the prisoners on the occasion when they go outside of the prison, as they would obviously need a person who accompanies them and looks after them. Isis tells him about all this, and Kuma thinks that it is good because he will be able to protect Zaina even if she is outside. Isis then sits near him, and he asks her why she is so close to him, and she claims that she is a species that subconsciously takes support from others, and there is no other reason behind this. She asks him if he wants to refuse, and he says no because he obeys her commands. Isis gets happy after hearing that answer from him, and then Kuma asks her if it is okay for the prisoners to go out. He asks her if they will be fine out there, and she says that she changed the laws of those prisoner seals. However, trying to run away from her still means instant punishment. Kuma understands that it means running prison while on their outings is no longer an option. Isis tries to be normal with him, and she says that since it is his first time to go out, she will assign another prison guard to go with him. She calls Panya and makes her go with him as a senior prison guard. Panya obeys the order and says that she shall act as his advisor. After he gets free from there, all of the girls and Kuma leave for the cave. Miriam says that no one cares about anything right now, as they just want to go to the cave to investigate, while Panya wants to make Kuma owe her a favor and then bring herself into his protection. All of them keep walking towards the cave, while some people are keeping an eye on Zaina, and they are ready to beat her up as she comes out of the prison. Kuma and his companions enter the cave, and Miriam says that this is a very big cave here. Panya looks around and says that it looks like it will be worth investigating. Kuma asks Panya if there is a chance that the monsters will appear, and she says that it is obvious there is a limit to their herbs, and asks him to make sure to be careful. Paulina-sama is going to map out the structure of the cave, and she asks everyone to go and collect insects and plants. All of them go around to look for insects and plants as they are instructed. Zaina and Kuma also go towards a slippery area to look for the called materials, and he tells her to be careful as the area is slippery. Zaina looks towards him and says that he is too much worried about her well-being, and says that he is very kind. Miriam notices them and wonders what is with Kuma, as he is trying to be close to Zaina. She keeps getting jealous and wonders what is wrong with her. Therefore, she angrily tells him to hurry up and start gathering what Paulina-sama asked them for. All of them start to look for the things Paulina asked them for, and then Kuma takes a huge mushroom with him and asks her what she thinks about it. Paulina claims that it is a tanta mushroom and says that it is not a new species, but it is a good material. Then Miriam brings something in a bag, and Kuma says that it is such a useful tool as it condenses things and lets a person carry them easily. Paulina-sama explains that it is a tool made from monster materials, and the queendom claims that it is their greatest invention. Then Paulina claims that her dream is to invent something that is better or equal to this, and then says that this is named an instantaneous movement device. With that said, Paulina-sama says that her laboratory was caught up in a big trouble during an experiment, and Kuma asks her if that is when she was brought here. Paulina asks him to wait, as she is going to invent it someday, as it is not only her dream after all. Kuma, with a smile on his face, claims that it would be nice if she did that, and Paulina-sama says that it is for that reason that she has to get out of the Sea Bastille. Then she tells him to go on and continue gathering things that she asked, and Kuma says that prisoners should not be so arrogant. Paulina says if he is great to her, then she will give him a reward that he also got earlier. As he walks away from there, Paulina calls him an idiot, and she thinks that she will keep asking him to do things for her in the future. Amidst, Zaina comes and says that they must be done investigating the area by now, and Miriam says that they should go and investigate the deep side of the cave. Therefore, all of them walk inside the cave towards the deeper area, and Kuma keeps looking around while thinking that there are no monsters in there at the same time. Someone tries to mess with them, but Zaina fights back and takes control of the situation. They keep fighting, and then a girl comes in and uses sleep art, due to which everyone feels sleepy. Sukaku, Hud, and Yakin are the ones they are going to face. Hud says that she is the first and asks her older brother if he was not able to finish his actions, and then Yakin says that it is what they can expect from Paladin's daughter. Zaina and others, including Panya, are not ready to believe, as the three Kusa brothers are standing right in front of them. who have excellence in arts. They are in the top 3 of the villains with the highest money rate to be paid for them. Sukaku moves forward and claims that they are here to beat Zaina, and she says that she cannot allow herself to be defeated here. The 3 Kusa brothers beat them all at once, and then Yakin says that his art can make them disappear from there and their smell as well as long as they do not move. Meanwhile, Paulina-sama keeps requesting them to let her go, and Yakin says that right there is where she is supposed to praise it and say it is an awesome art. Meanwhile, Sukaku is dealing with Zaina, and she is the only one still standing in front of him, and he says to her that they deal a finishing point to the others. And Zaina comes first. Hud is also ready to assist him. Panya was still okay, but she was acting like she was no more because her healing arts were the ones that were making her heal, as she wanted to be the only one to be okay. On the other side, Paulina-sama goes near Kuma and asks if he is a partner of Kraken, then shows her the power that he has in him while he is lying on the ground. Zaina is still stuck in this situation, and the 3 Kusa brothers say that this one is on a whole other level. He says they need to be careful until they are done, and Zaina thinks that they are not going to be careless until they are done. A light comes out of nowhere, and when everyone turns around, it is Kraken. Kuma says thanks to Paulina for her motivational speech, and she asks him to get rid of them. He starts to transform, and the Kusa brothers are confused if he is a squid or something. Kuma says that there is no hiding as he has got it right. The Kusa brothers call him a pain because they just got done with him, and he is back at it again. They wanted to complete their task for what they were there, but Kraken angrily tells them to stop messing around. Yakin runs towards him and asks him to be ready as he is going to be no more, and the other Kusa brothers know that Squid is strong. Kraken aims for Sukaku, and he thinks that Kraken is an idiot to do that. He uses the sleep arts and asks if Kraken is sure that he should be looking at him like that. Kuma says that there are squids who shine too and hit the Kusa brother, but the Kusa brother is too powerful and he hits him back while claiming that it just means he will be fine if he looks with his mind's eye. He sends him flying and then says that it is amazing that he has enough strength and he did not get affected by that power that he just faced. The Kusa brother says that this match is decided and it is a one-on-one, but the other brothers are not ready for it. Kuma hits the other brother as he steals the blade with his tentacle the moment he punches his face, and says to the brothers that he already told them that he would go after him, and he should not have stayed there like an idiot. However, the other brother hits him back and tells him not to be too excited because he has the checkmate, and Kuma says that he was made plenty aware of the difference in their skills with that single exchange of hits. That is why he is going to make his way to victory. The Kusa brother says that he will do this by launching his tentacles at him that he already dug into the ground from his back. He gets angry and says those useless tricks cannot defeat him because a squid cannot defeat a swordsman, and Kuma angrily says that it is not a useless trick but one that will cost him a lot. While they are fighting, Kuma uses his tentacles to shake the ground and manages to ruin their grip on the ground. Kuma gets up and says that he knows of it because he went to investigate and claims that there is an underground lake below them. Kusa's brother says that he will beat him up before they hit the water, and Kuma runs towards him while leading the Kusa brother, all shocked, as he was not expecting that he would come towards him, instead of running away. As Kuma gets close to him, he says to the Kusa brother that he is in range now and grabs him with his tentacles, and gets close to the water. Then he asks him if he thinks that swordsman could beat a squid in the water, and takes all of them under the water with himself. After getting rid of the trouble, he tells Zaina to hold on as he will call the rescue team as soon as possible. She is impressed by him and she says that he is very cool. Then Paulina-sama claims that this became such a useless exploration, but beating the 3 Kusa brothers is an incredible achievement. Kuma gets happy after hearing it and says if this is the case, then he was a great help. Paulina-sama remembers that she told him that if he was a great help to Paulina-sama then she would give him a reward. As he talks about it, Paulina gets scared that he still remembers it. The cave exploration squad, Paulina-sama, and the companions caught the 3 Kusa brothers. Kusa brothers were a group of which everyone was looking. Thus, that led to a reduction in the time period to stay in prison, and Paulina-sama's time decreased to 3 years from 7 years. After hearing it, Kuma felt really happy for her, and Paulina says that she was the one in charge of the exploration and thus, the reward was going to be a big one. Kuma, with a smile on his face, says that he was a great help with that, and she angrily asks him if he wants his reward and claims that she is aware of that. Paulina-sama thinks that he is a bad guy, thus she needs to be careful, or else he will insert his lion in the cave. Therefore, she tells him to get ready so that she gets over with that, but Kuma claims that he was just joking about it. Paulina is left in shock after this, and then Kuma says that his job is to protect the prisoners and he only did what he was supposed to do. Then he says if anything, he is thankful to her for having saved him with the herbs. He smiles after saying this and then looks towards her melons, which makes him lose control. Then he requests her to give him a small reward, and then he uncovers the melons to squeeze them slowly. While squeezing them, he thinks that he does not want to show his pride like that and then be left with regrets, and Paulina says that he is too straightforward to say that. However, Paulina-sama is happy that she got a year's reduction in the punishment, and she was the one who first suggested it, so she is okay to allow him to feel her melons. She claims that she will continue to have him work for her from here on, and he agrees with her while thinking that female prisoners sure are strong. Kuma then goes to meet Isis, and she praises his performance and asks what he would expect from the Kraken. Kuma says that he is sensitive, and if they mess with him before he transforms, then it will be a trouble. Isis then gives him a present, and when he opens the box, she asks him to try holding the tubes up high. Therefore, he raises the tubes, and a magical thing happens, and the three Kusa brothers appear, leaving him in shock. Isis says that they made a promise that they would stay loyal to her in exchange for their normal life. Then she claims that she already finished the sign thing on their necks and claims when he does not have use for them, then he can simply call them back and they will return to their tubes. Thus, she asks him to go and work them as much as he wants, without any reservation. Kuma says thanks to her for the present, and then he thinks that he has to learn to make the most of them and get stronger. Isis's original motives were hidden behind the new power that she gifted him.